Hey everyone, we're here at the Millennium Boulder in Colorado, and this is my friend Jocelyn Corridor.
Hey.
She's a strength coach based in Boulder, but today we're going to be focusing on a different type of coaching, mainly around falling and fear management in the fall itself. Step number one to having a good fall is making sure that the landing you fall on is well set up.
All right, let's do it.
This is the landing that we're going to be working with, and in a perfect world, every landing we would land on is flat and comfortable and nice, and this landing would be that if it weren't for this gigantic boulder, but it's cool. That's what life is about. It throws big boulders at you, and so we're just going to work with it. So you want to make sure that all of the mass of the landing is covered first. So these big flat parts, we'll put some of these bigger pads down, and we'll also put a big pad over the boulder itself. But considering that this climb that we'll be trying, the fall itself is fairly straight down, so we won't worry too much about that boulder, but we will make sure it's covered up anyways. There's a couple different techniques of laying pads, and it's fairly simple. You can either put the big pads on the bottom and the small pads on the top, or with uneven landings, it actually helps sometimes to put the small pads on the bottom to fill out this small hole we have here, and then put bigger pads on top to flatten out the surface. So let's try putting the small pads down right here first, and then we'll put this really big one on top, and then we'll put another big one on that rock. So actually flip it 90 degrees, because then we'll put, yep. Nice. Yeah. And let's actually move this a little bit. So here, and then here. So these pads fill out that space.
You want this over here?
Yes. And then this big pad. Hold this actually. Put the really big one right on top, and then we'll put that pad draped over. Yeah. Another thing to think about with pad placement is the angle of the pad and how it's going to react when you land on it. So obviously we've put this pad face down. Some people often put pads face up. So I've seen a lot of people just maybe put a pad like that because it's natural to put the pads face up. There's this idea of like there being, you know, oh, this is the opening of the pad, so it has to go up. But always think about the hinge, and say if you land on this pad like this, it's just very uneven and kind of like unstable. But if you drape the pad over, then it creates something that's much more, well, there we go, much more stable than if it was face up the other way. So something to think about when working with uneven landings.